Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. यदा हि नेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुषज्यते सर्वसंकल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते. How do we know that we have attained sufficient control over matter through which we, the consciousness, is expressing as a conditioned expression? How do we know that? Yoga rudaha tadocchate. Under these conditions, this can be certified. Which are the conditions? Yada hi indriyartheshu na anushajyate. When one is no more attached, attracted, repelled by the worldly objects, and second, na karmasu anushajyate. And when we have deleted the attitude of doership from our mind. See, kartavyatam buddhim na karoti ityartha. Kartavyata means what? This is my duty. How can I just, brush away? Is it not our duty to do this, duty to do that? This is how the ego is worshipped in the disguise of duty fulfillment. And here Bhagavan very clearly tells that duty is only for the one who thinks that he is the doer. And because of that, there will be 101 sankalpas going on in our mind. And if there is no doership, there is no wrong notion that I am doing something, then what will happen? Sarva sankalpa sannyasi. See? Sarvan sankalpan iha amutra artha kama hetun sanyasitu shilam yasya saha. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi. He who has given up all the sankalpa. Sankalpa means what? Sankalpa means imagination, projections, commitment in the relative world. In the absolute, there are neither sankalpa, nor commitment, nor achievement, nor failure. So, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Tada yoga rudaha praptaha iti uchyate. Then it is said that we have attained perfect control over matter. Yoga rudha. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi iti vachanad sarvan cha kaman sarvani cha karmani sannyasid ityartha. So by this word sarva sankalpa sannyasi, what is meant is all the desires and all the actions sannyasid should be renounced. After having given this, now this is what we are saying in the 4th verse. Now Bhagavan introduces the 5th verse. Tasmat sarva sankalpa sannyasi iti vachana sarvan kaman sarvani karmani cha tyajay iti Bhagavan. Bhagavan suggests to give up all sankalpa and action. Now, yada evam yoga rudaha tada tena atma atmana udhruto bhavati samsarat anartha vratat. Unless we have perfect control over ourselves, we will not be able to lift ourselves from the relativity and get established in the absolute. See? Yada evam yoga rudaha san. When we have thus attained perfect control over these two things, desires and actions, then what happens? Tada tena, by that yoga rudhatva, that yoga rudatvena atma atmana udhruto bhavati. Then only we can lift ourselves from where samsarat. Now, as I told you right in the beginning of our Bhagavad Gita, samsara, we clearly mean, samsara means a field of relative existence. In relativity, there are no problems that can have any solution. One solution is just a kind of a allopathic treatment. Only it's painkillers. They are not the pain removers. So, Atmana udruto hoti samsarat anratha vratat. And this being so, therefore in the 5th verse Bhagavan says, Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanam avasadayet Atmaiva atmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanaha Atmaiva yatmano bandhuhu. We are our best friends. Atmaiva ripuhu atmanaha. We are our worst enemies. How simple it is. The Bhagwan's commentary is so beautiful. Uddhared atmanatmanam. Uddhared means what? Samsara sagare nimagnam. Those who are buried under the load of relativity, samsara sagare nimagnam atmana, atmanam uddharet, yogarudadam apadet ityataha. So what is the meaning of lifting ourselves from the load of relativity? Only one thing, that attain freedom from the desires and actions. Now see the basic thing. As we know, the genesis of karma, how the karma takes place? Under 2 conditions. Condition number 1, when we have accepted ourselves to be a limited one. So when we think that we are limited, then to fill in the gap of incompleteness, it is natural to have a desire. Like when there is a space in the stomach, it is natural to have hunger. So when I put this thing here, when I consider myself to be incomplete, then what happens? That I start desiring to attain completeness. Now that desire will not allow me to be quiet. As a result, actions will be born. So what is the root cause of action? Desire? No. Root cause of action is the cause of the desire. And what is the cause of the desire? Wrong notion about oneself. This is one wrong notion, which is the cause of the desire and the samsara. Now what is the second cause? Second cause is anything which is recognized by us as other than the self. We have desires only about that which is considered as other than the self. See? We can never have desire about the self. Because the moment you focus attention on the self, you, the individual, disappear. And the infinite is revealed. Therefore, here when Bhagavan is saying, Uddhared atmanatmanam means yoga rudhatam apadayet, the first step. So if we really want to grow spiritually, this is the first step. Second thing, na atmanam avasadayet, na adhonayet, na adhogamayet. We should not allow ourselves to degrade. Now what is degradation? Again the same thing. Degradation is falling victim to the desires and actions. See what happens. Like second chapter we have seen, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha. The ladder of fall very clearly tells that all the desires begin by dhyayataha. We start imagining, thinking, contemplating about something or the other. And then there is no end to our fall. Therefore, na atmanam avasaded, na adhonayed. One should not allow oneself to fall from the pristine glory of the absolute reality. Now these are the two statements given by the Lord. That is what is to be done by us. Now what does it mean? It means spiritual life is that life where our attention is on the self. And what is the meaning of attention on the self? From 2 points of view. One, are we the victims of the conditionings through which we are functioning, or we have conquered, we have risen above the limitations of the conditioning? First, attention on the self. Second, attention. Who is this who is expressing through the limitations? Is he the limited expression or the unlimited being functioning temporarily through the limitations? These are the 2 points where we have to focus our attention. Now see, who will be able to do this? Only that person, he who has nothing to do about the objective world. Not otherwise. And therefore, many times on a spiritual path, we come with all sincerity and get lost only in the material world. So we start getting the things organized, and then big things, and then the institutions, and everything begins, and Paramatma is at the end. Because the priorities change. So uddared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. Now second aspect, what Bhagwan is hinting at, it is we alone who imagine about the world. What? That world is miserable, and we are in this world to wipe the tears of the world. The world doesn't have proper place to stay. We must provide good houses to the poor people. See? We decide. Now after we have taken decision for others, then we start executing. And there is no money. Then we start collecting money from the people. When you start collecting money from the people, then there are lots of problems. And we get lost in that. Now, why did you think in the first place that people are unhappy in the slum? Who told you to think? How can they be happy? You go and look at them, they are extremely happy. We only imagine. See? And this is how the whole, our imagination becomes the social project. And everything is only after that. Therefore, strict, clear instruction of the Lord. Every one of us have to take care of ourselves. Uddhared atmanatmanam. Then what will happen to the world? If we take care of ourselves, the world will be taken care of by itself. You don't worry about the world. No, but I can't help, I have to worry about the world. Then what I should do? Okay, read the 4th chapter of Gita. And in the 4th chapter, Bhagavan said, Joda Joda hi dharmasya. Bengali, it's a great joy to listen. Joda, first time in 60s when I heard Joda Joda hi dharmasya. What is happening? Dhadadhad. So yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. He will come down, why you worry? So what is the bottom line now? Bottom line is this. We are in this world for our spiritual growth. Do it sincerely and get out of this world. There is no other purpose of our arrival in this world. Once I was in Haridwar. There used to be one Ghat Baba. Who was he? Nobody knew. Because he was staying in the Ghat, he was called as Ghat Baba. And he has never left that place throughout his life. There only he stayed. And where he used to stay, they are put on that wall his sayings. Only one thing he used to say. The only purpose we are in this world is to know the truth and nothing else. Ghat Baba. See? Bottom line. No beating around the bush. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. Means let us function through the matter, but let us not be victimized by the limitations of matter. Now why are we insisting so much? Because Atma eva hi yasmat atmanaha bandhuhu. Because the matter is our friend and the matter is our enemy. Now it is the matter. Here Atma means what? Here Atma means our gross body, our mind, the modifications of our mind. All these things put together is the conditioning through which we are functioning. So, Atma eva hi yasmat atmanaha bandhu. Now see, when the body is cooperating, whatever we want to achieve, the body is an asset, a bandhu. And when the same body does not cooperate with us, then the same body becomes our enemy. The same thing is true with reference to mind. When the mind cooperates, it's an asset. You can apply that mind for something higher. But when the mind goes in a tangent and start thinking all negativities, frustration, anger, depression, the same mind becomes our enemy. Therefore, Atma eva hi yasmat atmanaha bandhu. Nahi anyaha kaschit bandhuhu yaha samsara muktaye bhavati. See? In this world, there is no one who can be of any use to us except ourselves. See how clear terms Bhagavan speaks. Nobody can help us. At the most, you can take the horse to the waters. See? You cannot make the horse drink the water. You may want, I want to make the horse drink the water. The horse will say, I want to make the waters, not drink the waters. What will you do? Think. Therefore, the Lord creates everything for us. The right situation. Everything perfectly provided by the Lord. But we refuse to get the signals. the orange subscriber you have dialed is out of reach. He is lost in the forest of his own creation. Isn't it? So, na anyaha kaschit bandhuhu yaha samsara mukte bhavati. Nobody can help us in this world. Now see how it is. Who creates the relativity? Only the mind. When the mind is enfolded, as in deep sleep and samadhi, relativity disappears. And again the mind is unfolded, again the relativity starts appearing and the samsara begins. Every day if you try this, you tell so many things every day we don't know what to do. Try this. When you get into bed and sleep, observe exactly what is happening. Then we will not get the sleep. See, you will not get the sleep. You will get. Don't underestimate yourself. And similarly, when you get out of the sleep, that time watch what happens. So after your sleep is over, when we study the 11th chapter of Panchadashi, that time you will learn all these things. In Panchadashi, there Brahmanande, Yogananda, there the whole sleep is so beautifully analyzed that while listening itself you go to sleep. If you understand these two principles, what happens? As the mind is unfolding, the relativity starts sprouting. First of all, who am I? Where I am? What is the time? See, these are all the factors which contribute to relativity. What I have to do? Yesterday I didn't come for the class because of this experience. When I got up at about 4 o'clock, 5-10 minutes before 4 o'clock, somebody came, Swamiji, you have to go for a class. And I was not understanding, who is this fellow talking to me and where I am, and my eyes were red shot. And it was such a difficult thing. Anyway, I got up, went to the bathroom and all that, again slept. I said, I can't take any class anywhere now. See? The relativity begins with the unfoldment of the mind and the relativity disappears with the enfoldment of the mind. So what is the substratum of the relativity? He is only this mind. And if this mind is taken care of, you will function in the relativity, but you will be out of the relativity. See? This is what is called a Jivan Mukti. The best example I like of Sant Jnaneshwar. When he says, you look into the mirror and you have the perfect experience of the truth. You look objectively, but no subjectively. You never look into the mirror to see that I am seeing the reflection. Next time you look, you just observe that. When we are looking into the mirror, we never have this experience. Hey, I am looking at my reflection. No. Even in the reflection, kya laga hai, naak par kya laga hai? See? We are extremely subjective. In the same manner, when we are establishing this knowledge, that mind is creating an illusion of relativity, the moment the mind is enfolded, it disappears. Therefore, with this knowledge, we function in the relativity. It is something like this. When the car is running, we see the road running in the opposite direction with the same speed. And when we know it is the movement of the car which is superimposed on the road in the opposite direction, after knowing this illusion will not stop, it will continue. But what will be our understanding? Road is not running, it is a car which is running. In the same manner, it is a question of just click. Once it clicks, And friends, sakrutva, only once, not second time. All practice and repetition is possible only in the field of matter. In the field of the absolute reality, it is only once, never twice. It is not like, giving up the cigarette smoking. I gave up so many times. No. I have known Atma many times. What is the first time, How many times realization you want, I can give you every day. Kitna ghante chahiye? It's not like that. Therefore, Atma eva hi yasmat atmanaha bandhu nahi anyaha kaschit bandhu ya samsara mukte bhavati. Now see, bandhu api tavat moksham prati pratikulaha eva. In fact, the relatives in this world are the obstacle for the liberation. Bhagwan Shankar is very clear. बंधु अपि तावत् मोक्षम प्रति प्रतिकूलः एव स्नेहादि बंधन आयतनत्वात्. And how our relations become the bondage? Because of the knot of love, attachment, sneha, etc. And therefore, that story from the Bhagavad, when the devotee was told by the Lord, come, let's go to Vaikuntha. No, not me alone. Let me take everybody with me. Who wants? No. My life will not be fulfilled unless I take everybody to Vaikuntha. To whom you are telling? To Vaikuntapati. See? As if he is biased. He doesn't want to take everybody. Arey Maharaj, you may want, but do they want? And he tries with everybody, and finally, when he becomes frustrated, Bhagavan says, if you like to stay back, you stay, I am going. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. So, bandhuhi tavat moksham prati pratikulaha eva snehadi bandhana ayatanatvad tasmad yuktam hi avadharanam. And therefore it is rightly said by the Lord, what? Atma hi atmano bandhuhu iti. So, our attachment to our body. Second, our attachment to our desires. Third, our attachment to our own convictions. That becomes our obstacle. Atma eva atmano bandhu. Now see, two views are brought out, if you have caught them correctly. First is, when the body, mind, etc., they are not under our control, they become shackles for spiritual unfoldment. Second thing, we are so much attached to our mind, etc., because of that we are not allowed to go ahead. See? This is how, many times the seekers want to walk the spiritual path, but then the mother, the father, if you go to this thing, I will have to walk on my dead body. Hindi cinema dialogue. And if you do that, you will have the path of killing the mother. Blackmailing. See? Therefore, avadharanam yuktam hi tasmat atma hi atmanaha bandhu iti. Now second, atma eva ripur atmanaha. Atma eva ripuhu shatruhu. Shatru means an enemy. Who is the enemy? Yaha anyaha apakari bayaha shatru. The external individuals who are apakari, who are creating problems for us. They are our enemies. And see how beautiful. Saha api atma prayuktaha eva. Enemies are created by us alone. See? How beautiful it is. We only create enemies. How we create enemies? By expectations, by demands. And when our expectations and demands are not fulfilled, we declare them as enemy. One day, who phoned me? One lady, from Goa. Very nice innocent girl and married for 2 years. And every now and then she used to phone me. So I told her, shut up, and close the phone. And then she sent a SMS, I hate you. So I wrote back, I still love you, but don't phone. And then for 2-3 months, no phone, no nothing. And again, Swamiji, I am so sorry, I never meant that, but if I don't talk to you, then with whom I will talk? See? We only say somebody is our enemy, we only say somebody is our friend. Friends, it is only our mind's projection. Please recognize this. It is so true. I tell you, this thing I got in early 70s. Yes, early 70s. I wrote to Swamiji that time. I went for some camp somewhere, and that was my first time I attended a spiritual camp with Swamiji and all that. After that, more than 100 camps I attended. And that was the first time, never knew anything about anything. Only the narrow vision of arrogance and logic, not knowing anything. After the camp was over, I went back. 6 months I did not write to Swamiji, do nothing. And after 6 months I wrote that I have been suffering for last 6 months because of your wrong behavior. Can you imagine the audacity? And what I have never expected out of you has really hurt and disturbed me. And I was trying to brush it out from my mind, it is not going. So I wrote, please help me clear this dirt from my mind so I still respect and love you. I sent this letter. And Swamiji replied that letter. He wrote, I am more than happy that you are progressing in the right direction. First sentence. Second sentence, you don't worry about me. In due time you will come to know it is our mind which is projected in the outer world, and that is what we see. I didn't understand that time anything. But now if you look at it, be very attentive. If you close your eyes, your mind cannot go out in the field of colors and forms. Be very subtle in understanding. If you close your eyes, your mind cannot go and come in contact with the colors and forms. Then you open the gates, eyes. When you open the eyes, then what happens? Mind goes through the eyes as a vision and lands on the colors and forms. Isn't it? Now, if that mind is perfect, what is alone seen. If that mind is biased, he is what is decided, that alone is seen. What is never seen. Is it not true? When we are having some kind of misunderstanding, ill feeling, anger, and with that we look at anybody, our perception is different. See, there is a story in the life of Eknath Maharaj. Eknath Maharaj has written in his Ramayana, it's in Marathi, where he writes, Hanumanji had gone to Sri Lanka and Sitaji was sitting below that Ashoka tree, and there was a beautiful lake pond kind of thing, and in that pond there were red lotus flowers everywhere. No, white lotus flower, not red. White lotus flowers everywhere. And Hanumanji read it. Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi, he knows everything. He objected. You were there or I was there? Started fighting with Eknath Maharaj. I have seen with my own eyes that they were red. And you are telling they are white? How? He said, what can I do? Whatever I have seen, that only I am writing. Please remember, the great masters like them or Tulsidaji, they don't write the things by scratching the head. What vision they have, that vision is put down into pen. That is why it is said, the Vedas are apaurushaya, not created by human being. So, the experience that Eknath Maharaj had, that alone he has written. So he said, no, I will not change. Because I am writing my experience. You may say it was red, but I will write white. Immediately, Bhagwan Ramachandra was called. Because he is the final authority. So, Bhagwan Ram said, both of you are right, because he has to manage with both of you. Both devotees. So, Bhagwan Ram said, look here, Hanumanji, what Eknathji has written is right. That they were white lotus. Hanumanji was thinking, I thought, I am right. Eknathji said, Dekha, I told you they are white. And the moment this happens, Bhagwan Rama tells Eknathji Maharaj, what Hanumanji said is right. How come? He said, because when he was in that Lanka, he was so full of anger. His eyes were red because of that anger. And therefore, those white lotuses were seen red by him. Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi, Prabhu muhratati na dekhi taisi. See? We only create friends, we only create enemies in this world. Atmaiva atmano bandhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Therefore, friends, please remember, you may trust a cobra. Cobra doesn't mean Kokunastha Brahmana. You may trust a cobra. Never trust the mind. Any time it will start creating doubt, it will create a crack in your Shraddha, it will create laziness in your mind. Never support that. So, शत्रु च अन्यः अपकारी बाह्यः शत्रु सहा अपि आत्म प्रयुक्तः इति एव युक्तम एव अवधारणम आत्मा एव रिपुः आत्मनः. We only become our enemy when our faculties start ruling us. How they start ruling us? They don't listen to us. Second thing, they start projecting all that is not. What is the projection? That object is the source of happiness. I am unhappy because I don't have that object. Unless that object is gained by me, I can never be happy. And therefore it is my utmost duty to gain that object. This whole blabbering is the projection by the mind, and as a result we become victim. See? Atmaiva atmano bandhu, atmaiva ripuratmana. Atma eva bandhu, atma eva ripuhu, atmanaha iti uktam. So what was said, that the self is the enemy and self is the friend. Now what is the meaning here of self? Our conditionings of body-mind complex through which we are functioning. So atma eva atmanaha bandhu and ripu iti yuktam. Tatra kim lakshanam atmanaha bandhu and kim lakshano va atmanaha ripu iti uchyate. Now what is that kind of mind or body which becomes our friend and which becomes our enemy. So which body-mind complex is our enemy and which body-mind complex is our friend? Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvata. बंधु आत्मा आत्मनः तस्य तस्य आत्मना स आत्मा बंधु येन आत्मना आत्म एव जितः आत्मा कार्यकरण संघातः येन वशीकृतः जितेन्द्रियः इत्यर्थः. सो बंधु आत्मा आत्मनः तस्य, द सेल्फ इज द फ्रेंड ऑफ हिम who has conquered the self by the self. So there are too many selves in this. Which self means what self? So that self which is to be conquered, that self is the karya karana sanghataha. Karya, the body, karana, the sense organs, organs of action and mind. Bahikarana, antakarana, both of them. So he who has jitaha, conquered the body, the sense organs, the organs of action and the mind. He who has conquered them, such a conquered, controlled, well-disciplined faculties become our friend. How they become our friend? It is something like this. If you want to, now that is gone, but you must have seen in olden days, if you want to start a car, you require a dhakka or a handle. I don't know whether you have seen or it used to be great fun. Put the handle through that and then that handy boy will come and start grrr, grrr, grrr. And all the passengers in the bus will think, suru ho gayi. He comes and puts inside and says, stop. Sabko utarna padega. Then the whole lot of people will get down on the bus and start. Some of the buses used to be parked only on the slope because they can't start afterwards. Isn't it? There used to be a term, I don't know whether you know or not. There used to be two types of sitting places. One is to be the benches on which you sit, and in between the gullies there used to be called as bagicha. So two rates. Bench pe baithna ki bagiche mein. So if the bench rate is 5 rupees, bagicha 2 rupees. So first bagicha is to be full. Such a joy, you know. So that kind of vehicle, how miserable it becomes. When you want to start, it will not start. Similarly, our condition is like this thing. When we want to do something, it doesn't work. When we want to write something, the mind doesn't cooperate. When we have decided I will not talk, that time you feel like talking too much. See? In short, all our faculties are revolting against all our decisions, like the opposition party. So, yena atmanaha karyakarana sanghataha atmana vashīkritaha jitendriyaha ityartaha. Therefore, our faculties, when they are under our control, they are our friend. And when we are the victims of our own faculties, they are our enemies and we are the victims. Anatmanaha tu. Anatmanaha means what? Ajitatmanaha. Tu shatrute, shatrutve, shatrubhave varteta atma eva shatruvat. And when we are anatmanaha, ajitatmanaha, when none of our faculties are under our control, then the same mind, the same body, the same organs, they become our enemy. I have seen one boy, he died. He was having diabetes by birth. He died now. He died at the age of 18. Only finally he became like, bone and skin and all that. So his parents took me, Swami, you please tell him something. He doesn't listen. He goes on eating sweets and then he goes on taking injections. Now his level has gone so high, but he doesn't. Please help, tell him. So I went, I saw, and they said he takes the things from the fridge, his injections. So I went and opened the fridge, and I found in the fridge they have kept all his medicines to take. In addition, there used to be lots of sweets. I said, you don't blame that child. If you really wanted, he should not eat sweets. Why do you get the sweets in the first place in your own house? Can't you keep them away? Swamiji, हमारा जो है ना, खाने के बाद मीठा खाना ही पड़ता है. See? You have no control over yourself. And you want the child not to eat the sweet. How important it is. It's extremely important. We must have full control over our faculties. Thus far and not further. Once you take this principle in life, you will see the spiritual practice is a fun. It's a game of life. Like what is a game of life? Suppose you play cricket. You follow all the rules and regulations, then there's a fun in that. But if you become angry, suppose you are batting and the umpire gives LBW. You think it is not LBW, but umpire has given. You come with your bat, tag, near the umpire and take the same bat. Give one. क्या कहा? Then it is not a game of cricket. In the same manner, we have to play the game of life with the rules and regulations. The first rule is we have to have control over ourselves. Now, one more step. If we have control over ourselves, then first thing that happens, they don't overpower us. And second thing, we never develop a kind of arrogance because of the success or guilt because of the failure. Two things. How it is? I have decided to do Ekadashi. And my friend also decided to do Ekadashi. And finally, I give up. Because I am so hungry. And I tell my friend, look here, there are 2 Ekadashis. You do today's, I will do tomorrow's, okay? One by one. And I eat. And my friend doesn't eat. Now what will be the condition between our two minds? See, I can't stop eating it. It's very difficult for me. I feel I should not. Oh God, please help me. Meaning, now a guilt has crept in me that I could not do or I had done something wrong. And the other one, see, I told you, you can't do anything. I can do only. So both the things, success of control over faculties and failure to control over faculties, create a dent in our mind, either that of the arrogance of the success or the guilt of the failure. When these two things do not touch us, then we have taken one step further. Atmaiva atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. So, anatmanaha tu shatrutve varteta atma eva shatruvat. तथा अनात्मा शत्रु आत्मनः अपकारी तथा आत्मा आत्मनः अपकारे वर्तेत इत्यर्थः. And in this manner, It is all our own creation that we start creating friends and enemies, we start becoming the victims and start blaming others in our life. That is why all the spiritual life is focus attention on the quality of your mind. The moment you see some kind of fluctuations here and there, immediately correct it. Tarangayita abhi me sanga samudrayante. This is the sutra. Yesterday I didn't get it. Tarangayita abhi me. Even a little disturbance in the mind, if it is not taken care of right in the beginning, sanga samudrayante, they become disproportionately large. Therefore, in the next verse, the teacher says, Jitatmana prashantasya Paramatma samahitaha Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu Tatha manapamanayoho. Now see, as I read this verse is like this. Shitoshna sukhadukkeshu jitatmanaha manapamanayoho prashantasya tatha paramatma samahitaha. This is the sentence. What Bhagavan has said, Shankaracharya. Jitatmanaha means what? Karya karanadi sangahataha atma jitaha yena sa jitatma. He who has full control over his all faculties, body, mind, senses, etc., he is called as jitatma, tasya jitatmanaha. For him, prashantasya, prashanta antakaranam yasya sataha sannyasinaha. He who is extremely ever cheerful. And who can be cheerful? A sannyasi. Sannyasi means what? Please don't forget the original definition. Sannyasi is not the ochre robe ones. Sannyasi is karmani akarmayaha pashet, akarmani cha karmayaha, sa buddhiman manusheshu, sa yuktaha, sa krishna karmakrut. So he who has seen, he who has prasanna antakaran, ever cheerful disposition. Two things. One is jitatmanaha, second is cheerful disposition. Paramatma samahita sakshat atma bhavena vartate ityartha. This is the definition of God realization. What is God realization? Two things. Jitatmanaha prashantasya. When the body, the sense organs, the organs of actions, the mind, and their modifications are no more carried by us as a load, and therefore they are no more able to influence us, and in the absence of the influence there is no possibility of the birth of an individuality, a jiva. That expression of the divinity is called as realization of the divinity. See how beautiful it is. Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahita. So what is the God realization in this? Now see how it happens. Jitatmanaha, if your all faculties are under your control, what happens? You have gone beyond the limitations of the faculty. The same thought is reflected in our third chapter, if you remember, the last verse, where Bhagavan has told Arjun how this kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guno samudbaha, maha ashanaha, maha papma, vidhyena miha vairinam, where this kama krodha is available, indriyani manobuddhi asyadhisthana muchyate. Indriya Manabuddhi, there he is residing. Therefore, what we have to do? Understand. Indriyani paranyāhu indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhehe paradastu saha. Objects are grosser, senses are superior. Senses are grosser, mind is superior. Mind is grosser, intellect is superior. The pure self is superior, all the three are inferior. Therefore, there is only one way. What is that? Evam buddhehe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana. By attaining firm control and governorship over your senses, mind and the intellect, hold them and discover that you are the substratum supporting all the upadhis and their modification. This is the only way to conquer desire. And once you are established in that, then nothing in this world will ever touch us. Padma patramivambasa. Therefore, jitatmanaha, he who has conquered his faculties, how he has conquered and where. Now the field is told. Shītoshna sukhadukkeshu jitatmanaha. See? Shīta ushna sukha-dukkha. See, these are all so much relative things. If you just think coolly, Shīta and ushna, cold and heat, they by themselves are never eternally bad, eternally good. They by themselves never give us all the time miseries or all the time happiness. In the summer, cold is desirable, heat is no. In the winter, it is the other way around. So whether we call heat as good or bad or cold as good and bad, no. So, Shīta Ushna. Similarly, Sukha Dukkha. We all enjoy our happiness, everybody knows. But I tell you, we also enjoy our miseries. Do you know how we enjoy our miseries? When we tell somebody the pathetic condition that we have gone through during our childhood, and we are reliving that pathetic experience. But that time we are experiencing joy. And all the other who are saying, Acha, it was like that. You had to go to the school without the shoes. Papa, how used to go? That was our life. You require a car to go to the school. We used to go walking, and there used to be a river in between, and we have to pass the river by swimming. Papa, where used to keep the books and all that? Where books? We never used to have books. Papa, you used to go to the school to clean the school? No, I used to study. You require a special table, a special room. Do you know, we used to study in the lamp below, the lamp on the street light. But those days there was no electricity. Children are innocently. And this oldie fellow is talking all his tragic experiences, but now encashing, under these conditions, we have become ministers. See? Shītoshna sukha-dukkeshu jitātmanaha. He who is never allowing any loss of balance because of the pairs of opposite, he is God realized. See? When Bhagwan is supporting the poison in the cobra, and when he is supporting the milk in the cow's udder, in the cow he doesn't do a pious job, and in the cobra he doesn't do a poisonous job. No, it's far above that. Is it not equally true in our own case? Dirty things are seen by our eyes. Holy things are seen also by same eyes. What are the eyes? They are above them. Mind. Good thoughts come in the mind and dirty thoughts come also in the mind. The doubt comes in the mind, the conviction comes in the mind. See? The understanding is there, the misunderstanding is there. But the mind is above that. Similarly, the Jagrata Avastha comes, goes, the Sapna comes, goes, deep sleep comes and goes. The consciousness is above that. Therefore, Shitoshta Sukhadukkeshu Jitatmanaha. He who is equipoised is not corrupted because of the relative existence. He is God realized. Paramatma Samahitaha. That is why, the whole Bhagavad Gita talks about Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Just discover this thing in Bhagavad Gita. Whether you talk about karma, ultimate in the karma is Samatva, equanimity. Talk about Yoga-abhyas as in the 6th chapter we are doing. The ultimate in the Yoga-abhyas is equanimity. Talk about devotion as in the 12th chapter or other chapters. There the ultimate is again Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni Santushto Yena Kenachit, equanimity. And talk about knowledge, there also it is the same equanimity. And talk about going beyond the 3 gunas, Gunatita Purusha. It is the same thing. The whole Bhagavad Gita has these 2 main principles. Relativity, disease is called as mamata. And the medicine for this is samata, equanimity. He who is living in the relativity without losing his understanding and experience of the absolute, Paramatma Samahitaha, he has realized the truth. Shitoshna Sukhadukkeshu Jitatmanaha. And in our life 2 things come. One is the world in terms of joys, sorrows, gain, loss, victory, defeat, etc. But that is not all in life. There is another aspect also. And what is that? That is mana, apamana, honor, dishonor. Honor, dishonor is not applicable to animals. See? You come from outside and you are in a very angry mood, and your Tommy jumps on you as usual and you become angry. Give him hard, and poor fellow falls down and goes below the sofa and sits quiet. After you have become spiritual, few bottles have emptied, then your mood comes to normal. And then you remember, Arey, today I have not seen my Tommy. Where is Tommy? Immediately the Tommy will come and start leaking. Mana, apamana, tulya. Therefore, Tommy is more realized than you and me. Now try the same thing with the husband or the wife or the children. You come from the office, very bad mood, and the wife says, honey, should we go for a movie? Movie. And poor girl, she says, why he is barking like this? Is it not the right of a wife to ask the husband to take for a movie? Hamari mangi puri karo. And whole evening is spoiled. And after some time, then the husband regains his control. Then he says, should we go for a movie? Not even responding. I am not talking to walls. Walls are better. The dialogue begins, isn't it? No. Actually, there is nothing like actually. Always you do like this. What do you think? Am I furniture in this house or what? So, we get two sets of things in life. Experiences from the world, and second, honor and dishonor from the world. So, manapamanayoho prashantasya. This is how these two words have to be joined together. Shitoshna sukhadukkesho jitatmanaha and manapamanayoho prashantasya paramatma samahitaha. Therefore, there is nothing like honor and dishonor in this world. These are all our own creation. We only imagine that I should get this kind of honor. We only imagine if I don't get this thing, that means I am insulted. See in these marriages, how these useless fellows, good for nothing, suddenly in that moment what happens to them? As if they are Tismark or what? And then elderly people will go and talk to that useless fellow because he is a groom, and they'll go, sir, actually, we have ordered already the scooter, but they say you have to stand in a queue and you are hurrying for your marriage, therefore we have bought you a tricycle. Now for the timing, keep the tricycle, and after your number comes, he'll give you a scooter. See? Man apaman. But you have given me a word that he'll give me a scooter in the marriage. Manapamanayoho prashantasya. Friends, it is our own imagination that we are insulted. It is our own imagination that we are honored. You remember that day I told you one story, Man Apman. One Dr. Nee. She is retired now. She is from Delhi. A Punjabi girl, lady. She was, I think, a professor of radiology. And she used to come regularly for the class. And on our way to Badrinath in Rudraprayag, where we had to halt for some hour or two for tea, coffee, I was standing below the tree. Naturally, people going here and there, suddenly they'll start doing namaskar, and it's like a sheep flock, one does, other does, cut, suru. So this lady says, Swamiji, and so many people are doing namaskar to you, how do you feel? I said, nothing. Immediately I stopped that whole lot, and I said, hey, she is my mother, and you will do namaskar to the mother or the son? Of course, to mother. They do namaskar, I also do. I did namaskar to her there. The whole lot, suru. And then she wanted to run away. I said, no, you have to take the namaskar. Now feel how it is. Mana apamana yoho prashantasya. Friends, our interaction in the outer world, when it does not create any kind of disturbance or impression on our mind, in short, when our mind remains like a mirror, reflects everything but retains nothing. Paramatma samahitaha. And in that case, mind is not born. What is mind? Mind is like a exposed film which carries the memories of so many things. And what is a mirror? Mirror doesn't carry any past. Therefore, the one who is living all the time in the absolute present, he will be spontaneous, not carrying the grudges of the past, worries of the future, and therefore these things are natural for him. Shitoshna sukhadukkesho jitatmanaha and manapamana yoho prashantasya. For him, paramatma samahitaha. Paramatma samahitaha is sakshat atma bhavena vartate. He is already abiding in that truth. Kincha shitoshna sukhadukkeshu tatha man apamane cha manapamanayo puja paribhavayoho. In this manner, The 7th verse of the 6th chapter is the definition of God realization. What is God realization? Fire. Jitatmana prashandasya paramatma samahita shitoshna sukha-dukkeshu tatha manapamanayoho. After we have realized, then what happens? If something remains to be happens, then we are not realized. To tell the experience of this God realization, Bhagavan says, Jnana Vijnana Truptatma Kutastho Vijitendriyaha Yukta Ityucchate Yogi Samaloshtasma Kanchanaha. Jnana Vijnana Truptatma means what? Jnanam Shastrokta Padarthanam Parijnanam. Jnana means what? Whatever is told in the scriptures, you have understood the meaning of the scriptural words. Shastrajam Paroksham Jnanam. In our Sadachar we have seen, there also Jnana Vijnana is explained. That knowledge which is collected as information from the scriptures is called as Jnanam. That knowledge is without experience. So Jnanam Shastrokta Padarthanam Parijnanam. Vijnanam tu Shastrataha Jnatanam Tatha eva Swanubhavakaranam. And what is Vijnanam? Experiencing what is said in the scripture as your own personal immediate experience. That is called as Vijnanam. So Tabhyam, by both of these, Jnana Vijnanabhyam Truptaha. So these two things put together, Mundakopanishad. Shrotriya Brahmanishta. Jnana is Shrotriya. All the scriptural things are clearly known to him. And Brahmanishta, what is said in the scriptures, is experienced by him. So, such a one, Truptaha, by these two, Truptaha means what? Sanjata alam pratyaha. Sanjata alam pratyaha means he who has experienced the fulfillment of being. Naiva tasya krutenarthaha na kruteneha kaschana. Where this is said? Which chapter? Somewhere in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, we are recently seeing. Naiva tasya krutenarthaha na kruteneha kaschana. For him, there is nothing to be gained by doing something. And for him, there is no fear to lose anything. See? Sanjata alam pratyaha. In the language of bhakti, devotion, Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesha nitya viyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. Yoga kshemam vahamyam is sanjata alam pratyaha. What is yoga kshemam? What we don't have, to get that is yoga. Kshema is to protect what we have. Bhagavan says, yoga kshemam vahamyam, I shall take care of his life. So, Sanjata alam pratyaha atma antakaranam yasya, he who has this contentment, fulfillment of life in his heart, sa jnana vijnana truptatma, he is called as jnana vijnana truptatma, kutastaha aprakampyo bhavati ityartaha, and thus he attains kutastaha, unmoved by anything in this world. Further, Vijitendriyaha Yukta Samahitaha iti uchyate, and his vision is Samaloshtashtma Kanchanaha. There are a few more points in these 2-3 words. Sri Krishna Narayana, we will take them in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.